Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here, and I'm going to do a catch-up weekly comic review video. I didn't do comic reviews from when July 11th comics came out. I didn't do them when July 18th comics came out. I apologize for that. I had some other stuff going on in my life. Then I did Batman week. I really didn't even film Batman week like for each of those days. I just filmed. I found when I had like a certain significant amount of time, I just filmed like half of them one day, then half the other day. But some of that's cleared up now, so I think I can go back to the weekly format now, since pretty much all the superhero movies are taken care of this summer, and so now I can pretty much catch up on the comics that I got for the last 2 weeks and kind of catch up on those. I just figured I'd combine them into one video just to make it easier than make two separate reviews. Okay, so first off, from Independence, IDW, Star Trek The Next Generation, and Doctor Who crossover, Assimilation 2, Issue 3. This, just to let people know, this is cover B. I wanted to get cover A so badly, but my comic shop didn't have it, so I got cover B. It really wasn't a big deal to me. I just think I would have preferred A, because it really shows more of what goes on in this issue. Basically, what happens is the Doctor feels his memories shifting, and he experiences a flashback to his fourth incarnation, who teamed up with the crew of the original Enterprise, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and Scotty, to deal with some Cybermen on another planet. They succeeded, and basically that's pretty much the story told in this issue. And the issue then ends with Captain Picard and the Doctor going to see, I hope I'm saying this right, Guinan, the character played by Whoopi Goldberg on Next Generation, about some more information about the Cybermen and the Borg. So, yeah, that's pretty much what happens in this. I really like this issue, mainly because of the team up with the original Star Trek crew with the Fourth Doctor. That was real fun, and that was what cover A featured. It featured the Fourth Doctor, Spock, watching Captain Kirk battle a Cyberman. I really wanted to get cover A, but oh well. But still, it's a great issue. I think if you are a fan of the Fourth Doctor, you'll like it, and also the original Star Trek 2, you'll like it. It's not, the crossover's doing very well. Doing very well so far. Okay, now for DC Comics. Superboy number 11. Superboy is trying to adjust to life outside of nowhere. He's moved to New York, and he's finding it a little difficult with money because he robbed a bank. He says he's borrowing the money, but Bunker, who guest stars in this issue, tells him that, dude, that's basically stealing. You can't do that. And eventually they team up to go deal with this supervillain on the cover called Detritus, who's attacking New York City. So, okay, I really did not like how they sort of portrayed Superboy. I get that he spent like his entire life in the lab, but you'd think he'd have some sort of knowledge that knows that robbing banks is bad, but I forgot they don't know how to program moral ambiguity into clones, so they have to learn them themselves. Fortunately, that's what the Teen Titans are there for. Alright, now for something good. That was actually good from DC Comics. Batman number 11, the conclusion to the Court of Owls saga. Basically, for this issue, Batman fights Lincoln March, who's still claiming to be Thomas Wayne Jr. Ultimately, their fight ends in a building that collapses due to some explosion set up by March. Batman escapes, but we don't know what happened to March. After the fight, while Bruce is recovering, Bruce speaks to Dick Grayson about March's claims, and Bruce reveals to Dick that he knows that Martha was pregnant and he did have a brother, but the baby was born premature after the car accident that was mentioned, and the baby died after one night. So for one night in Gotham, Bruce did have a brother. And when Dick asks Bruce, do you think your parents would have lied to you and just moved the baby to another hospital? Bruce says, I doubt that. and I won't believe anything March says unless I get some proof. And since we don't have his body, I can't do a DNA test. And so Bruce pretty much, and so after the whole Court of Owls incident, Bruce feels like he will always be there to protect Gotham, even when it appears that Gotham's attacking him. He'll always, be there to protect Gotham. The Court of Owls was definitely a great series, great story arc for this. Scott Snyder did an amazing job keeping this thing, doing a storyline of this length, keeping it around for this long. It really is a fantastic story. If you haven't been reading Batman, you should definitely get it, because this is definitely what people will tell you what the best comic by DC is right now. And also Bruce's attitude towards what happened with Lincoln March, I think it's good. I mean, it's not like he would automatically go into grieving thinking he'd have a brother, because he doesn't know for sure. He doesn't believe March, and I think that's good for Bruce, because he shouldn't, because he believes that the Court of Owls probably made all this up and told some innocent child that he was actually Thomas Wayne Jr. So but still, none of us know for sure whether or not March really is Bruce's brother, because they don't have the body, so they can't exactly do like a DNA test to be sure. Which I think is a great sort of open-ended question to let readers go on by Scott Snyder. But, well, the Court of Owls has concluded. Soon we're going to get into a story arc featuring the Joker. Now that I cannot wait for. Okay, now Justice League number 11. The League finds more about what happened to David Graves. Apparently, Graves and his family were exposed to some sort of disease during the apocalyptic invasion of Metropolis. And then eventually, though, after the invasion, Graves' family started to get sick, and they started dying off one by one. And then, full of grief, Graves journeyed to this place called the Valley of Souls, and that's where he acquired his new superpowers, which apparently allow him to summon spirits of lost loved ones. And the League eventually goes to the valley to figure out how they can stop Graves, and when they get there, a lot of them are visited by spirits of loved ones. Batman sees his parents, Green Lantern sees his father, and Superman sees his parents. But the main shock was when Wonder Woman sees what looks like the soul of Steve Trevor. Yeah, Steve was kidnapped by Graves in order to get secrets, in order to get into the League's watchtower, and Wonder Woman was worried about Steve, and she wants to stop Graves so that she can save Steve. But apparently, when they get there, it sort of shows off that Steve may have died. Not a bad way to end an issue, though. We're not actually getting into a big fight with Graves yet. A little more stuff is being revealed about what happened to him, and yeah, he does seem like the typical guy who blames the Justice League for the death of his family, even though they pretty much don't appear to have anything to do with it at all. But it's not a bad story arc so far. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's terrible, but it's just not exactly wowing me right now. And the Shazam co-feature, basically what happens there is Billy Baxton gets into the subway cart that takes him to the Rock of Eternity. That's all that happens. Artwork's not that bad. I mean, it felt pretty short. Again, but it's still a co-feature, so it's just pretty short. I mean, I just feel like that's the only significant thing that happens in that, is that Billy gets on the train and he's led to the Rock of Eternity. Gary Frank's artwork in that... did Gary Frank do the artwork in that, or... I think it was Gary Frank who did the Shazam artwork. It's not that bad. I think the artwork in that's great. The way Frank redesigned the cart and subway cart, and also the rocket and sort of the entrance to the Rock of Eternity, that looked really nice. Justice League has nice artwork, but so far the story isn't terrible, but just hasn't wowed me yet. Okay, moving on to Marvel. Something I can review very fastly. Wolverine the X-Men number 13. Even though it's an Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in, this is just a background issue for the character Warbird, who is the sort of bodyguard to Kid Gladiator, who's a student at the Jean Grey School, and there's also a fight between Gladiator and a Phoenix-empowered Cyclops. Guess who wins? This isn't really much of a tie-in. That fight is pretty much the only thing that ties into this. The Warbird stuff, I don't know. I couldn't care less about Warbird. I'll be perfectly honest. If you like the character, great. She's got a one-shot for you. But this is just, it's not very interesting. And neither as a fan of Wolverine and the X-Men, nor as a fan of Avengers vs. X-Men. It's just not that interesting. So, if you want to save some money this month, I'd recommend skipping that. Alright, now, Captain America number 14. Captain America fights the new Scourge, and through the fight, he discovers that the new Scourge is his old comrade, Dennis Dunphy, a.k.a. D-Man. Cap tries to talk some sense into Dennis, but Dennis is too far gone. He's brainwashed by Henry Peter Gyrich, who's brainwashed by Hydra, and Dennis won't listen, and Cap's pretty much hesitant at fighting a friend, allows Dennis to get the upper hand, and Dennis is getting ready to decapitate Cap with his Captain America with his own shield, but Sharon Carter shows up and shoots Scourge in the back twice, and that unfortunately kills him. And the next day, though, with Gyrich apparently had a leak to the press ready, and that pretty much launches a public word about the supervillain witness protection program, and also the identity of the new Scourge being former hero D-Man. And with that going on, Cap pretty much has a huge scandal to face, since this is all hit. Since most of this stuff did lead from his watch as the new head of S.H.I.E.L.D. And so the issue ends with Steve talking to Sharon, and he tells her that, now he feels like, this is the final straw. Now I really want to lay it into Bravo and Hydra really, really hard this time. And that's the end of the new Scourge story arc. I was going to drop this after this story arc, but there's only a few more issues left. Okay, there's pretty much one story arc left in this, and that's not going to just conclude this Captain America series, but it's also going to conclude Ed Brubaker's run on Captain America. So, I want to check that out now. And, the death of a friend, of D-Man, who is Captain America's friend, I think that really motivates him now to really go after Hydra this time. Because now he just doesn't want to stop them because it's his duty. He wants to stop them because they hurt his friend. They essentially killed his friend, and he wants to get revenge now. So I look forward to the next story arc, which will be the final Captain America story arc, and I think it's going to conclude in September. I would say, though, get the last few issues of this to sort of set you up for the next story arc, and also, if you don't want to do that, then get the next issue, because that will probably be your jumping on point. Although, really, can you call it a jumping on point if the series is going to end in a few months? Moving right along, Scarlet Spider number 7. Basically, Kane investigates an incident that happened at the Rocks. Investigates an incident at the Roxton Corporation after the CEO's daughter apparently blew up the first floor office building with not the top floor of the office building with a rocket launcher. And the issue ends with Kane being confronted by a team of superheroes known as the Rangers. This is setting up a new story arc, but it really doesn't give you much. I mean, I think as far as Kane being a hero is concerned, it does sort of, make him hesitant to help people, even go into investigating stuff, because after the explosion at Roxton, he's pretty much spending like the next day not doing anything. Like, he's thinking to himself, I don't care. But then his friend Arclay, who can sort of read minds, tells him, "I'm sick of you not thinking. I don't care. Just go and investigate already." And that gets him to work as the Scarlet Spider. This is kind of a weak opening to this story arc, but Scarlet Spider has been very well in the past, so I hope that this one still is able to crank out another winter story arc. Okay, moving right along. Avengers Academy number 33, another Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in. Despite the students and the faculty's best efforts, and even the Sentinel, basically Emma Frost has come to Utopia to destroy the Sentinel that's owned by the student Justin. But despite the students and the faculty's best efforts, that even the Sentinel itself overriding its prime directive to protect Justin, Emma Frost destroys the Sentinel. Then she destroys it. Then she melts its CPU. And after Frost leaves, though, Quicksilver shows up in kind of a Deus Ex Machina and reveals, "Hey, guess what? I saved the CPU from being destroyed at the last minute. I switched it with one of our robot units. So here you go. Your friend's still safe." So they're able to rebuild the Sentinel, and apparently now the Sentinel's new prime directive is to protect Justin. And after the Sentinel's repaired, Quicksilver leaves because he says that he has to get back to his sister during this war with the X-Men. And after Quicksilver leaves, Hank Pym and Tigra make an announcement where they state that because of the fight with the X-Men, they're shutting down Avengers Academy because that's the only reason the X-Men are attacking this place, is because it's a school called Avengers Academy, and Cyclops said no more Avengers. So Hank Pym's shutting down. They pretty much tell the students that for the time being they have to go somewhere else because they're closing down Avengers Academy. And when Reptile asks, "Well, after the war's over, we could reopen, right?" But Hank says, "I'm not sure, because after this, everything's going to change." That was a great ending to this. I really do like the tie-ins in Avengers, the Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in in Avengers Academy. They're really nice and well done. As far as the whole shutting down Avengers Academy goes, that's probably a good decision for now, considering that I think Hank Pym and Tigra have made a right call in shutting down the Academy while the war is going on, because they want to protect their students, and right now having a school called Avengers Academy while the X-Men want to destroy all Avengers is probably a bad idea. Okay, now for the final comic, Avengers vs. X-Men number 8. Namor has attacked Wakanda, and while Namor's attacking, Wolverine and Iron Man escape with Hope and Lee Kong through a portal to Kunlun. Am I saying this right? Kunlun, which is basically the land where Kung Fu was born, and if you've read Iron Fist comics, then you should know about it. So while they get away, the Avengers fight Namor, and it's taken almost everyone to just make a dent in this guy. Then suddenly Thor is able to pound Namor a couple of times. Then the Scarlet Witch shows up, and she's able to separate the Phoenix's power from Namor. But when she does that, it goes right into the other four Phoenix empowered mutants. So now the Phoenix 5 has become the Phoenix 4. And right when the Phoenix 4 arrives after Namor's defeated, Cap opens a portal that Iron Man was able to replicate to Kunlun, and that allows all the Avengers to escape. And right after the Avengers escape, Charles Xavier contacts Cyclops and tells him, "Scott, stop this right now, or I will stop you." And when the Avengers regroup in Kunlun, Hope asks Captain America, what's the plan? And that's where the issue ends. So, another great chapter in Avengers vs. X-Men. They're actually able to take Scarlet Witch. Really is definitely the most powerful mutant, because now she's able to separate the Phoenix from another mutant. Of course, I don't know if she can do it if it's just one mutant with the entire Phoenix Force. Keep in mind, this was just one mutant with 1/5 of the Phoenix. Now, since she separated that part of the Phoenix, it went into the other 4 members, making them more powerful. And also, I did like how Charles Xavier pretty much spoke to Cyclops in this issue. He was just, Scott, either you stop or I will stop you. That was really great. This is definitely getting to be something very epic. I cannot wait for the next issue. It's going to be great. Okay, so this is it for my comic review. Sorry if I was a little rusty, but I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. Okay, so quick recap. Avengers vs. X-Men Round 8. Namor's gone. Really, this story is really amping up now. Avengers Academy number 33. This is the last Avengers vs. X-Men tie-in for Avengers Academy because they're shutting down the school with this. Hopefully we'll know what happens to the students next issue. And Scarlet Spider number 7. Week opening to another story arc featuring Kane, but hopefully it will get better from here. Captain America number 14. A slightly better ending than the last story arc. Great lead into the final issues of Captain America. Can't wait to read it. Wolverine the X-Men number 13. Skip this issue if you can. Justice League number 11. A little more information about David Graves. Is Stephen Trevor dead? Who knows? And Batman number 11. Epic conclusion of the Court of Owls. Highly recommend this. And Superboy number 11. Superboy's trying to start his life in New York. So far, he's failing. And last but not least, Star Trek Next Generation, Doctor Who, Assimilation 2, issue number 3. Nice flashback featuring the 4th Doctor and the original members of the Enterprise. Okay, well, that is it for this week's comic review. Hopefully, when new comics come out tomorrow, I'll try to have the review on time, or at least close to the proper release date. Okay? That is all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Spider-Man 1991 saying see you later.